Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today it will be a short video of my updated routine for fall with my lovely girl Hazel. Fall is finally with us, so we have lovely change in colors of the leaves outside, but we also have colder weather, and hence my little jacket and Hazel's stable blanket. So for those of you that are not familiar, a stable blanket is, or a stable sheet I should say, is just a little blanket that has no filling, so there's no added padding, if you will, that will retain the heat. And Hazel is just wearing that in order to keep her body heat and just help her overnight. So I'm just removing the bell boots, and I checked really briefly the coronary band on her front right hoof, just because she had an abscess not so long ago, so I want to make sure that she is still doing okay and there is no more sign of infection. So every new season here in Canada brings its own challenges, if you will. In our case here is to make sure that the horse keeps their body heat, if they need to be blanketed or not. It all depends on the horse and if they're growing a lot of fur or not. In our case, Hazel usually doesn't grow that much fur, and that's why she's going to be blanketed from there on as well, indoor and outdoor. So here in this new step that I'm adding to my new fall routine, and is to put thermal boots on her. So I'm just putting them on as it keeps the body heat, if you will, and it helps to keep her tendon and her leg warm and get her ready for her to be worked out. So that's why I'm gonna put nice thermal boots on all four. I will put the link about this specific product at the top corner in the info button, where you guys are going to be able to see my product review for all the Shed Row thermal products. You'll have the boots, and you also have a stable sheet as well. Since it is a new step in my routine, Hazel's just getting used to it. You'll see a little bit later, she kind of thinks that those boots are like shipping boots, so she's getting a little worried about the boots themselves. But they're just literally stable boots, and what they do is they retain the heat from Hazel's body and reflects them towards the inside of her structure, muscles or tendons and all of that, and it kind of keeps it warm and help her during work to just not have any downtime or colder time, so it helps to keep everything together. So as I just mentioned, that's the time that Hazel is kind of getting worried about her being shipped. So she could see in her face, she's wondering what's going on, and she's getting a little bit stressed when I put that boot up. So that's when she left me a little present, just to tell me she's a little stressed, she's unsure about the situation, which is totally fine. You just take it easy. So I'm just gonna put the boot on top of her back here and just grab a shovel and a broom so I can clean up her little present there and move and carry on with the grooming routine. So Hazel's are usually a very, very good horse. She doesn't really get bothered that much, but as you can see, she tests to see what kind of boots I put on her. She's like wondering what's gonna happen as I put those boots on. But eventually she will just realize they're just there for like a few minutes, and she'll eventually calm down and relax and just not pay attention to them as much. So now that all 4 boots are in place and secured, it's time to start grooming. So the first thing that I do is I just remove like her little straps for her blankets and make sure that I just fold it part way on her back, so like that she's not gonna be like cold all at once. We're just gonna do the front first, so I'm just folding it right here part way to her back, like the mid back, and I'm gonna grab a brush and start doing her grooming for the first half of her body. So eventually doing both sides of her, like her first part of her body, so her chest and her shoulders and the half of her back. And then as that it gets done, I'll just push the blanket back forward and then uncover her back end so I can do the other part of the grooming, and that basically keeps her warm and cozy. So I'm covering the other part of her body. That day was like cold, but it wasn't like really freezing or anything like that. So I left the front part open. As soon as the temperature drops, usually what I do is I just re-secure the front end of the blanket to make sure that there's no like cold air going through her chest, or affecting her her body temperature, and just making sure that she stays warm. The warmer the horse is already, the better it is, so you don't have to spend a long time warming them up. And that's why the boots help as well, is that the tendons and all the structures inside the leg are going to be already kind of pre-warmed up for you. So it's going to help to make sure that, first of all, they don't get injury when they get worked out, especially if it's like -40, -30 in the winter. You just want to make sure that they're already kind of pre-warmed, pre-ready, and then do a little bit of a longer warm-up when it comes to under the saddle, or if you want to do a little bit more lunging, you're just gonna go a little slower because it takes a bit for the horse to get ready for the colder temperature. So now that Hazel is all ready to go, I just put on her, I removed her actual like thermal boots and I put on her normal work boots, and as you can see, she's already feeling kind of good. Before that video, I actually started working her a little bit just to see how she was doing with her leg for the abscess. As you can see, it's much better than it was earlier when she had the abscess. She's still a little sensitive on the sole, but nothing crazy. Like, she could still work and carry herself forward, and she's even relaxing into the lunge lines. So that's a good sign that she's not in pain whatsoever, although sometimes she makes a little bit of a funny step, and that's when I know she's a little sensitive on the sole. So as I was saying, before I started filming, I actually had her warm up just by doing some hand walking for 10 to 15 minutes, and then I started lunging her a little bit and see how she was feeling at the trot, at the walk, and at the canter. She even offered a gallop at a couple of points, but that at least proved that she's doing actually fine. So since Hazel had an abscess like a week prior to that video, and she just had her shoe put back on that same week as after the abscess had drained, it's just this part of the training was just really to make sure that she was sound, that she was ready to be worked, and also that she was doing well, like mentally, like she wasn't overly excited or she wasn't in pain or anything like that. So putting a horse on the lunge line really helps to kind of gauge where they're at in their head as well as in their body. You could also like see if they are off, if you will, like if there's one leg that's not doing its job properly, or if there's something wrong with it. You'll see it beforehand, before getting on and riding. So I like to do that with her when I feel like she's getting a little bit excited, or that I feel like she has a lot of energy, or when she's been off for a long time. So that really helps to kind of assess where she's at. She was off for a total of about 2 weeks and a half, almost 3 weeks, for the abscess, because it took so long to burst. So here I'm just literally playing with her and just like fooling around. I just like to get her to chase me around and see how she's doing. I can also double check her leg and see if she is actually doing okay with it, if it's symmetrical. And just a little bit of cooling down, just walking her, keeping her a little bit more quiet, and just making sure that she is cooling down properly. So once again, after this video, I also hand walked her for 5 to 10 minutes just to make sure that she was cooled down properly and that she was ready to get in. And my routine wouldn't be complete if I didn't show you, of course, that I'm the braids. So if you decide to have a long mane on your horse, you probably will need to braid it during the winter just to avoid all the hair to be like broken or the mane to be like all matted. So I suggest that if you want to keep it long, you have to basically stay on top of it and make sure that the braids are staying clean, if you will. So every week you would have to go over and just redo and rebraid everything. Same for the tail. So if you want to help your tail to grow, you could probably put a tail bag on it if you'd like, but you really have to first wash your tail and then comb it and then also braid it and then put a tail bag on it in order to keep it like away from dust and all that stuff in the winter. Hazel will most likely have one this year as well, just to help with the growth of her tail. But once again, if you are deciding to do that with your horse, I suggest that you really stay on top of it, because if not, it's just gonna mat up and you're gonna end up losing a lot of hair. So I hope you guys enjoyed this short video of us this week at the barn, as we just did a new fall routine with Hazel and getting her used to the new tools that we use for the season. And if it is the case, I hope that you will share this video with all your families and friends. Give us a big thumbs up, and also follow us or subscribe to our channel if ever you'd like. I'll see you guys very, very soon.